No. Most guys don't do peers, and it's because they're profit first, not quality first. And I mean, and that's going to be all your mega builders. You know what I mean? They're building on what I would call poor soil. You know, I mean, I have a higher engineer tell me, he's like, well, and it's fine. It has 5 inches of movement. Well, 5 inches of movement's a lot of movement.
Welcome to the Texas Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview Texas real estate professionals from active real estate investors, lenders, property managers, and many others that provide goods and services into the real estate investing industry in the great state of Texas. Our goal is simple: to share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level, and to meet the pros that can help you get there. Texas Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and entrepreneurs build the business they need to live the life that they've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest, Cody Clark, is a custom home builder in DFW. You can find him at clarkcustomhomes.com. Cody, thanks for taking the time today.
Yes, of course. Thanks for having me.
When we talk about the custom homes space, I know this is very competitive. You know, you're not just competing with other people in custom homes, but also too, for folks who are buying homes, they have so many different options. How did you get into the custom home space?
Yeah, so I'll keep it short and sweet. Long story short, I was a fireman. Had some obviously had some free time. Didn't work. Only worked every third day. Ended up building my house, and then a buddy of mine's like, "Hey, can you build me a house?" I was like, "Well, I'm really a fireman, not a home builder, you know." And he's like, "You did a great job." So I built his house, and another buddy said, "Could you build me a house?" Another buddy said, "Could." I built a bunch of houses for a bunch of firemen. Is what happened. And then people were like, "You do a great job," you know. And I was like, "Oh, thanks," you know. And so here we are. We're building about 30 houses a year now. This is our seventh year in business. We've actually turned it into. I've retired now. Retired from the fire department, so left way early, from the fire department, which was
How
not
long
the
were you how
plan.
long were you working for the fire department for?
A total of 16 years. Total
And
of
then
16 years.
when people talk about, building homes, ground up construction in general, right? This is a unique skill set. I know a lot of flippers in DFW, but flipping a home is not the same thing as building a home from the ground up. That's a whole other animal entirely. Did you grow up swinging a hammer? Did you grow up, framing homes? How did you learn to build homes?
Yeah, so we would buy these really rundown properties and then go in there and fix them up. So I didn't know I didn't know what a subcontractor was. That's no joke. I didn't even know that was a thing. I thought a home builder was the electrician and the plumber, because we laid flooring and wired the houses and roofed them, and did all the trades. And then, in high school, I went to work for a plumber. I worked for a plumber for a little while. Worked in the cabinet shop. So I had a pretty good idea of, how things go together and how they work. I hung sheetrock. I mean, commercial drywall, actually at UNT at the college there in Denton.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I learned the trades, and then when it came time to build my house, I told my wife, I said, I think I can do it. It's not, nothing's really a mystery to me. Like, I mean, I'm not a professional trim carpenter or a professional electrician, but I got a pretty good idea how it goes together. So I feel like I can manage people.
Ask specifically about the foundation, because in Texas you got Pier and Bream, you've got Slab, right? But what I've seen more times than not is that that becomes an issue.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Especially for flippers who they may have experience maybe doing some type of foundation repair, but in terms of laying a foundation on a home, that seems to be particularly tricky. What's been your experience, basically building these homes from the ground up? And then do you have any advice for people who may be coming from that fix and flip world into new construction?
Yeah, so the foundations are tricky. So a good foundation starts out with with a lot of prep work. I mean, so there's a couple different way we could really get into the weeds on foundations and different types of slabs. But a lot of times we'll inject the soil. So basically, what I explained to people was like when we inject the soil, think of the soil as a sponge. You ever seen like an old dried out sponge sitting on the edge of the sink? Well, we inject the soil. We're swelling the sponge. Think of the dirt as a sponge. So we swell it with a it's natural chemical compounds, but it keeps that ground swollen. That way it doesn't heave, it doesn't move. And then we go in there and we cap it with a clay top, and then we pour our foundation on top of that. If there's a risk of movement, we will put piers in there. I always say piers are a cheap insurance policy. You need one pier for every 100 square feet. It's just like a rule of thumb. Don't quote me on that. Your engineer will call out the specifics, but I can tell people like, hey, for 10,000 bucks, we could drop 50 20-foot piers in here for 10,000 bucks. I just totally made that number up. The math is probably wrong, but you get the point. So it's not a ton of money when you're spending. You're like, well, if I spend 50,000 on a slab, no piers, maybe it's good, but maybe I spend 60,000 on a slab with some piers, and then we soil inject, we do the piers, we do the engineering. We don't have problems long term. So
Let me
that's
ask you a question. I think a lot of people are probably hearing this thinking you got concrete and you got excuse me, you got concrete slab and then you've got pier and beam, but you're talking about having piers with the concrete. Is that common practice? Are most people that have concrete homes putting some type of slab in there?
no, no. Most guys don't do piers, and it's because they're profit first, not quality first. And I mean, and that's going to be all your mega builders. You know what I mean? They're building on what I would call poor soil. I mean, I had an engineer tell me, he's like, well, um, we won't name names because I've already been had a cease and desist letter for naming names, but it's like they'll say, well, we can, it's fine. It has 5 inches of movement. Well, 5 inches of movement's a lot of movement, and we'd like to get our movement down to less than one on our soil. So and that's a whole discussion about when and where and why piers are used, but
Now, I want to pivot a bit here, and if I can ask you about concrete slab versus pier and beam in general. Of course, depending on where you're at in the country, you'll see one or the other. In Texas, pier and beam is very common, right? For folks who are listening outside of Texas, and many Texas homes, you can even like see underneath the home because it's on pier and beam, although that's not always exposed like that.
yes.
You mentioned that there's an increased cost to adding these piers when there is a slab. uh, is that increased cost then denoted in some way to prospective homeowners? Like, for instance, would it say like mixed concrete and pier and beam, or like with piers, or would it just say concrete slab, or would it say the other? Because that's of course a big value add for folks to know that it's basically like a reinforced foundation.
Yeah, so we actually say, like your slab on grade is this much money, and then right below it it says Piers. You know what I mean? And we're and I detail out, like we're going to do 12-inch piers with two pieces of number five rebar, 18 foot deep, this many piers, and then attach an engineer's drawing.
If you're looking for consistent, high quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
The engineers looked at all the structural loads, all the vertical loads on there. Of course, we'll do a bunch of perimeter piers, and then, we put them in like key places, like when we have like heavy loads from like ceiling loads, roof loads.
Yeah.
Yeah, those, I mean, man, the piers are just such a cheap insurance policy, in my opinion. If you're going to be in your house for a long time, I would say just do it. It's a cheap insurance policy.
Now, when pivoting a bit here, Cody, when we talk about custom homes in general, I think that this can run the gamut from like a super modern home, to something where someone wants maybe a unique layout. Do you have any specialty when it comes to the design of these homes?
So we actually don't do the architecturals currently. We actually provide that's a third party service that
Okay.
we send it out to. As far as the interior, now there's a really important distinction here. There's architecturals and there's interior design. And a lot of times you'll have people say, "Oh no, I can do the interior design. I know what I'm doing." But a lot of times what homeowners don't understand is it's overwhelming because there's, I don't know, 1,000 decisions. That's, I mean, no exaggeration, 1,000 decisions to be made. So we actually have interior design in house, and that makes the process 1,000 times better. Because we used to just give, we'll say lighting, for example. Here's $5,000 for lighting. People would every day, all day, guarantee you they would spend $10,000 and say, "Why didn't you give me enough money?" And so we brought our interior designer in the house. We're like, "Here's what we're working with, $5,000, because we want to keep these homes affordable but super nice." And so she's shopping, wheeling, and dealing, and then it forced us to make, vendor vendor relationships. So we're like, "Hey, we're going to buy all of our lighting from you, but we need a better price, and we need quality, and we need service, because there's lighting's a whole another animal, but you can buy lights that have a 1 year warranty, 3, 5, 10 year warranty. But of course the price starts, ticking up. But I digress.
But when we talk about some of the ways where these segments of this, of a real estate deal can become tricky. You have moving pieces, moving components. You've got a builder, you've got a designer, you've got an architect, and then as the prospective buyer, the homeowner, you've kind of got to corral all these moving pieces. As a builder yourself, and as someone who's worked with homeowners, architects, designers, have you seen with other builders or in the industry at large that because there's so many moving pieces that sometimes this can be an issue. It can be tricky.
Yeah, yeah. This is what I tell everybody, every client that comes in. I say there's a lot of really good builders out there, and they will build you a good house. Now the hallmark of a builder is not only knowing what you're doing on the building side, but being able to orchestrate the symphony, right? Because there's 500 human hands that are involved in this. There's 90 trades that are involved in this thing. And so keeping, just from the building side, keeping all that straight. And then from the client side, you're the middleman. You're the general contractor, if you will, but your job is to orchestrate both parties. But a lot of times what happens is clients feel like they're not heard, or they don't know what's going on, which is what we have. We got really good at the building side, but failed to understand the client side. And so these last couple of years, we've really honed in on the client side, making it a really smooth process for them, with like an update every Friday, a live schedule, pictures every single day. You know what I mean? So a live budget. That way they can see, like, "Hey, I want to add, I want to change." I just had one say, "I want to change the brick to stone. How much? What's the difference?" Okay, so I can show them. I can just send them a change order. They can see it. They can approve it or deny it. But that's the biggest complaint that I hear from homeowners is they feel like they're on a scavenger hunt. They don't know what's going on. In the builder's mind, he's like, I know what's going on. Why don't you trust me, right?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
But on the homeowner side, they're like, I don't know, what's going on? Like, what are we doing here?
And of course, this is going to range, Cody. But is there a general timeline for hey, we are making first contact with our architect and have the plans done to the home has been constructed and ready to move in?
Yeah, generally I tell people from the time you first call me to the time we end this deal, it's going to be about a year. And what happens or what's happening right now, I don't know. It's just things are taking longer. The architects are backed up. Our interior design gets backed up. And then of course, we try to do things simultaneously, like submit for city permits. That's We've been waiting on city permits on a job for 3 months now. But the
Wow.
cities are back. The cities are way backed up. Like city of Salina is super backed up. They say we've got 60 permits. We've got 5 people, to do these permits. So, but typically when we break ground, the time we finish is about 6 months on a what I would say like a normal build. On our luxury side, it's 12 to 18 to 24 months. Just depends on how big the house is, how involved it is.
I want to pivot a bit here. You're in DFW. I mentioned to you before hopping on the podcast. I lived in Denton for a little bit under a year last year. And one of the interesting things that I noticed, and you had mentioned this well before hopping on here, is just the urban sprawl of DFW is massive, right? I mean, it's so big, right? And then you've got like this cultural distinction between Fort Worth and Dallas. And so when people, especially folks outside of Texas, when you say DFW, that's a huge you know physical land mass that's now almost extending practically to halfway to Oklahoma, if not to Oklahoma. As
Yes.
a builder in that area, are there any areas that you particularly see from a building standpoint or from a homeownership standpoint that you're saying, hey, that's really an up and coming area that I would like to be in if I'm buying a home out there?
Yeah, I think, oddly enough, I don't I just it always surprises me, like these communities that I've seen for 20 years that were farmland are like, so Van Alstyne, Gunter, Salina, Prosper. I think Salina and Prosper have hit their stride, but now we're starting to see it move up towards like go down 75, down 35, like up towards Oklahoma. And
Yeah.
that was no man's land. Nobody lived there and nothing was, but now people are calling that North Dallas. And I'm like, Dallas is 2 hours away. Like that's not North Dallas. That's friggin' north of nowhere. Like don't get me wrong. They're very nice communities. Not, I wasn't being derogatory, but it's just like, but it's funny to me when people say North Dallas and I'm like, Dallas is 70 miles from here. Like it's not even close. Like, so it's like, how is that North Dallas? I don't know, whatever, you
It's a
know?
hop, skip, jump. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
north.
yeah,
I
just
mentioned
be
to you
there.
before hopping on that I moved out to Denton because my buddy had said, "Oh yeah, it's DFW Metro," not knowing exactly how far the commute was going to be. But
Yeah.
when we talk about this urban sprawl, it's a very interesting concept because you've got people commuting from further out, but then you've also got these cities that have become, or these areas that have become self-sustaining to a large degree as well. I wouldn't necessarily throw in a Prosper like that at this point, but if you look forward 20, 30 years in the future, over which a home loan matures, you could very well see some of those areas become like their own sphere and less attached to DFW with time.
Yes. Totally agree with that. We've seen that with Frisco. We sent it to Plano. McKinney. There was nothing. There was not one thing in McKinney. But it went from 100,000 people. Now it's almost 400,000 people.
Yeah.
And Denton the same way. Denton was just a little island out there by itself. But now it's grown tremendously.
Yeah, there's a Facebook page, Denton Around Towners, and sometimes I'll see
It's
people
Denton around town.
saying like, "Where's the jobs in Denton?" And as someone who's not from Denton, I'm like, the job. What do you mean? You mean the jobs? This is a pathway to DFW. And I realized like, well, no, people now, this is its own entity. Like this is its own, deal over here. And so you mentioned some of those towns, going up to Oklahoma right now, they may be emerging, but again, you fast forward into the future, there could be a similar sentiment, right? We are coming up on time here though, Cody. Any new projects that you're working on as well? What's the best way for our audience to reach out to you or your team?
Yeah. So as far as projects go, so our 2026 initiative is to start putting some specs on the ground, some luxury specs. So in that $2 to $3 million price range, probably in that Solana Prosper area, maybe up to Van Alstyne, Gunter, people that are looking to move out of, the hustle and bustle of maybe Frisco or McKinney. They want something, maybe they want an acre of land, but still want a really nice house. So that's our 2026 initiative. And the best way to get a hold of us is through our website. So just go on there, fill out our website form. We ask a bunch of questions on there, but we just want to make sure that we're well aligned for our clients and that we're a good fit for you and you're a good fit for us.
Cody, thank you so much for taking the time today.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for today's show. If you're looking to take your business and your life to the next level, you really need to learn more about the Investor Fuel Mastermind. It's your shortcut to success. To learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other amazing entrepreneurs, 100% financing on your deals, member-only discounts, and so much more, please visit investorfuel.com/Texas. By the way, Investor Fuel is even Texas-based. Also, if you're interested in applying to be a guest on this very show, the Texas Real Estate Pro Show, please visit investorfuel.com/Texas. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app so you never miss another episode. We'll see you on the next show.